Hello there everyone at Grove House, it's Reverend Steve and it's good to be with you. I wish I could see you though, I'm really missing you. Anyway, I wanted to tell you about a really special time of year, and this is called Advent. Now I guess you've heard of this word, and the word Advent actually means the start. And for us at the moment, it's the start of a time leading up to Christmas. Now, during Advent, you might have something called an Advent calendar. And so during all the days of December, you might have a calendar, a bit like this one, with all the numbers up to Christmas Day. And behind each number, beginning number 1, you might have a chocolate to find each day in the days of December. It's exciting, that, isn't it? So that's an Advent calendar. At my church, we also have something called an Advent ring. And on each of the 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas, we light a candle on each of the 4 Sundays. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on Christmas Day, the 25th of December, we light this one in the middle, this white one here, to remember the birthday of Jesus. Another thing we're doing in my church is something called a Jesse tree. I've got my Jesse tree here. Jesse here was a person in the Bible. You might not have heard of him, but you will have heard of one of his sons. And one of his sons was called David. And this is the ornament that I'll put on the day that we remember David. David was a shepherd, so here there's a picture of a sheep, because shepherds look after sheep. And you can see that stick, that's called a shepherd's crook, and that's what David used to keep his sheep in order. But David also became a king. I bet you've heard of David, because one of the stories in the Bible is about David throwing a stone at a giant called Goliath. You heard of that story, David and Goliath? Anyway, I'm going to put that one on there, like that. And then some of the other stories we'll look at in Advent you might have heard about already. So let me see if you know any of these stories. Here's a decoration I'm going to put on soon. Can you see that? I wonder if you know what that is. That's right, that's Noah's Ark. And then here's another one. This is a coat of many colours, or an amazing Technicolor dream coat. You heard of this story? This is a story about Joseph, who had lots of dreams, and God used him to tell people what their dreams meant. And then you might have heard of this story. Can you see that? That's a whale. And this is to remind us of the story of Jonah. And Jonah was given a big message from God, but he didn't want to give this message. He ran off instead. And he got caught by a whale, got swallowed up by a whale, but he didn't die. The whale spat him out, and then he took the message that God wanted him to take. The Jesse tree will end on the 25th of December, and the 25th of December, you probably know, is when we celebrate the birthday of Jesus. So here's a picture of Jesus, I'm showing you here, and the birthday. So this is the baby Jesus. Now, this will be the last decoration I put on. The Bible tells us all about the family of Jesus and all the people who came before him. And of Jesus, it says that Jesus was part of David's family. So remember I told you about David, and David's dad was Jesse. So this is why we have a Jesse tree during Advent. Now, what you might not know about Jesus is one of his titles. So a title is what you call somebody. So I'm a reverend. Mrs. Summerscales is the head teacher. So lots of people have different titles. One of Jesus' titles is the Prince of Peace. The Prince of Peace. That's a good title to have, isn't it? I wonder if you know what peace is. Peace is when there's no fighting, there's no falling out. But it means much more than that. It means when people look after each other, when people care for each other, when they share with people who are in need. Peace. And there's been a lot of that going on, hasn't there, during the coronavirus pandemic. People have looked after each other in all sorts of ways, neighbours shopping for each other and looking after each other. So I hope during this Advent you'll find some peace and you'll look after each other and you'll find ways of caring for others. I hope you've liked my little story about the Jesse tree, and I'll send you another message nearer to Christmas. But for now, goodbye.